there's an almost paradoxical nature to the day of Tisha B'Av itself. On the one hand, we sit in the mornings fasting. Sitting on the floors, we dim the lights. There's a real sense of mourning, a sense of loss, a sense of lament, a sense of crying over what we no longer have. And yet, when the clock strikes 12, at Chatzos, there's an almost palpable change, a transition in the day where we rise up, we turn the lights back on, we return the shul to the way it's supposed to look. And yes, we may still be fasting, but the day changes. So much so that at Mincha, we do not say Tachnan. We do not say Tachnan as a reflection that Tisha B'Av, as crazy as it sounds, there's an element of moed, of holiday, to Tisha B'Av. Well, what is it? Is Tisha B'Av then about the mourning? About the loss of what we once had and no longer have? Or is Tisha B'Av about the longing for what we're going to have in the future? And almost with anticipation, we don't say Tachnan because there's an element of moed to it. What is Tisha B'Av? Is there an happiness to it? Or is it totally sad, devoid of all happiness? A day where we're sitting and crying and lamenting what we no longer have. Writes Rabbi Soloveitchik so powerfully. It's both. There's two motifs to Tisha B'Av. On the one hand, as we know, it's a day of mourning, a day when we're saying kinos, crying over what we no longer have. But on the other hand, at Chatzos, at the moment when so many years ago, the Beis Hamikdash was lit in flames, and the Beis Hamikdash began to burn, we have a recognition that instead of Hashem pouring out his vengeance and wrath on the Jewish people, he did it so on a building of sticks and stones. We sit here with a recognition that the very fact that we are able to still commemorate Tisha B'Av means that Hashem spared us. That despite everything happening, Hashem said, you will always be my nation and I am not forsaking you. I may have to punish you, but I'm not forsaking you. And the message of Tisha B'Av is, while on the one hand we mourn, on the one hand we cry, on the one hand we lament, on the other hand we have to also see the silver lining. To recognize that in life, Tisha B'Av is telling us life in all its complexity. There are moments when we're disappointed, and that's okay. It's valid to mourn. It's valid to feel disappointment. It's valid to be annoyed. It's valid to have those sort of feelings of Tisha B'Av mourning. But yet, on the other hand, to also look at what life presents us, and to look for the silver lining, to see the Yad Hashem, to see Hashem, even in those moments when we feel that disappointment in its most acute way. Tisha B'Av is there for all of us to be able to take those lessons, and we all should take those lessons this year. To mourn, but on the other hand, to also see the Yad Hashem in our lives. Have a wonderful day.